So what we have here is a free gaming laptop. So I did a deal today. I sold them a gaming desktop, just a low mid-range, just under 500. I gave them a free 34-inch ultra wide with a old X99 plus GTX 1080 build. It's decent. It's, in theory, it shouldn't have been that much faster than this. This is an 8th gen, but laptops don't quite equate to desktops. But I've done a little bit of testing with this, and it's actually not close. Even though this is 8th with a 1060, and that was X99 5th gen with a 1080, it doesn't touch it. I don't really know why. I mean, I have a clue, but I don't know exactly. In any case, they definitely got an upgrade as far as performance, and at the time that I got this from them, it was kind of falling apart. I did some repair on it, and I did some kind of tinkering with it and stuff, and here we are with a actually fairly good condition MSI 8th gen i7 gaming laptop. But the real thing that we're going to use this for is testing to see how well it actually games. Because this was like every man's gaming laptop for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years they sold these. They sold the 1060, then they sold the 1660, the 1660 Ti. They sold those laptops for a while. The 1060 though, I mean, that was like the GPU in gaming laptops for a really, really long time. So I want to test it, and I want to give people that are actually looking at this hardware kind of an idea of what to expect with it. Can they use it for any reasonably modern gaming? Can they do anything with it? That kind of thing. I will say I did play Fortnite on it. My generic Windows install that I copy onto every machine, I have Fortnite pre-installed on it, and so I instantly have Fortnite there every machine I do. The real advantage to something like this, though, is if you need because these are going to be dirt cheap. If I were to sell this laptop right now, I'd probably put it on Craigslist for like $200 or something, right? $200 buys you a laptop with a tolerable video card, an okay screen, I mean, reasonably thin, and with native Windows 11 support, because native 11, as in you don't have to use any hacks, cracks, workarounds, anything like that, is supported starting with 8th gen. And actually, I put Windows 11 on here and it just installed and worked. So definitely something you're going to want to look for if you're looking for an ultra budget laptop. And I would not personally buy a laptop like this. Typically, when I buy laptops, whether they're new or used, I seek out higher spec machines for my own personal usage. I don't want to sound too hoity-toity there, but the thing that you'll find with deals is that oftentimes people with nicer stuff sell it for cheaper because they don't care as much. People who buy lower-end hardware tend to be more attached to their hardware because it tended to cost them more of their disposable income, at least in my experience. Let's... You know, I wasn't going to do any gaming on this in this video, but you know what? I am going to jump. We're going to do a quick, if I can get it rigged up with my capture card, which I think I can. I'm going to have to do, because these aren't really designed for the type of, like, if it were ideal, I would have all the cables coming out the back, but they'll be coming out both sides. And so it's kind of a pain in the butt to hook it up. But I will, if I can get it hooked up, I'll show you guys a really quick run of Cyberpunk 2077. I have not tested it yet. I haven't the vaguest idea. I suspect we'll be able to make it runnable at some level, but beyond that, I haven't a clue. We're probably going to have to juice the hell out of it with AMD FSR frame gen should be supported, and FSR 3.0 should be supported. So we're gonna juice it up, and we're gonna see what we can actually get out of a reasonably demanding modern game. I'll do like 3 minutes just so you guys can see real quick, and that'll be that. Okay, so this is actually somewhat encouraging. Before anyone comments, I'm going to address it in the first 10 seconds. Don't want to hear about the CPU temperatures. The initial research I did suggests that 100 Celsius is tolerable. I'm gonna have to dig deeper and see what people are saying about this specific laptop and the numbers that they're running, but the Intel spec sheet says 100 Celsius. So it's possible that this is just a really hot laptop. But we're not focusing on that right now. We're focusing on game performance. So let's take a look where we are. So we are doing exactly as I suspected we were going to have to do. FSR, frame gen. Now we are running at a high setting preset, so that's not bad. I kind of think it doesn't look the best. But also, it is playable. It's a little sluggish. More sluggish than I would actually expect for the frame rate, to be totally honest. I've commented on this before. A given frame rate is not the same thing on all hardware. Some hardware looks and runs smooth down to like 30 FPS, but sometimes you run the exact same game on a different set of hardware at the same frame rate, and it looks like absolute garbage. So that the frame rate is not everything. Let's go a little lower on our settings. Now the interesting thing here, though, is how well it is running. So this should give you, do I got motion blur? I think I got some motion. Yeah, we do. I hate motion blur. This should give you an idea that manufacturers or game developers can make some of these older games run very playably on low-end older hardware, and they're just not doing it. These games could be optimized better than they are. I'm sure you've been hearing it forever, but it's the truth. You see a game like Cyberpunk that's been optimized to high hell, to the point where it can run on a damned Pentium 4 most likely, if you set it right. I mean, it's a very interesting game because it scales way up, but it also scales way down. But for an initial look, let's do one other thing. We're going to knock it down to 720p, and we're going to do that because these laptops are largely 14 and 15.6 inch 1080p screens, which means you can get away. Let's start at 1600 by 900. Okay, so let's run it. I mean, it's not horrifically bad. Nah, you know what? Our better bet than doing that is going to be just 1080p and then just crank this. This is probably going to be a better option. Okay, yeah, that's the way to go. Okay, so this wasn't meant to be a long, in-depth. We're just seeing, can some of these games run viably on this thing? And the answer is, for the most part, yeah. So anyway, you know what? We're going to do one more. I'm thinking maybe like Fortnite. We'll do some Fortnite. Just a quick match. So stay tuned and we'll get that running. Okay, so this is Fortnite running on the same, on the gaming laptop. And so we're really just trying to find, you know, a baseline level of performance. Real quick, well, I'll wait until we get to the ground. We'll get to the ground and then, we'll see if it's playable. It tends to be that with Fortnite, what you have happen is usually the frame rate speeds up once you get to the ground. I guess I'll just leave it running. We're almost there. So I have been finding lately that you don't need quite as high of a frame rate as you used to. It seemed like in the past you really needed, I don't know, 140, 200 FPS to play competitively. But it seems like now maybe they've... Oh, and let's take a look real quick. So 1080p... and everything's turned pretty much low or all the way off except view distance, and then we're in performance mode. And this has been, I've run a couple of matches now. Generally speaking, this performance has been pretty consistent across the board. It is possible that getting those CPU temperatures down might help, but I'm not going to say that 100% for certain. I know everybody's going to try to say that, but the initial basic research I have done on this hardware suggests that this might actually just be the temperature that it runs on. Should I say it runs at? But I'm going to do a little bit more research on that before I declare it just a generally hot system. Because I just don't know. I will... what the heck? I will say I did make it to like 5th place on a match earlier on this thing, so it's definitely not impossible to play competitively. It's like right on the edge, but I mean it's not bad. Anyway, though, this gives you guys kind of just a quick look at what to expect. I know there's not been a whole lot of action here, but this gives kind of a baseline expectation. So it's definitely playable. It's just not pretty is all. But anyway, that's the last thing I'm going to show for now. So I hope you guys found this to be interesting and maybe informative, and thanks for watching.